Okay, guys. Double or Nothing's done. I'm not putting any images in here. If I do, it will be only for the most important matches. Everything else will not get images, no matter if you want to see them or not. But let's make this clear. You see this show, and you see my title, and I know someone's going to say, what do you mean over the top? It don't have the words. Well, you're going to learn about it by watching the damn video. I'm going to make this clear because there is a few people that, instead of watching the video, they comment before they watch the video, because I know they do. Because the comment's only less than a few minutes old and the video's not that long. That shows they did not watch the video. And I'm going to tell them, watch the video. Stop trying to get my comment beforehand. Watch it. But I got to say this. It's the best title I can come up with because of how it is. Let's make this clear. I'm going to say it now. Because there's so much here and I know I'm going to miss something. So if I do miss something, leave a comment below, guys. I have no problem answering you. But with 10 matches, not counting the kickoff, which is 12, there's a lot of content here that it's so hard to just pin down what's the most important things going forward. And this is what people are not understanding. I don't believe just Alex understands this or JD. Because they're going to be going this by how great that AEW does its shows. And they will talk about what's going forward. But they're not understanding what it means to go forward. We are having serious problems right now when it comes to attendance. And they're going to cover this. But the key of this entire situation is every time when we heard someone substantial coming to the company, like Mercedes Moné, like Adam Copeland, we could get someone else. Let's say that, weirdly enough, Goldberg appears. I'm not saying he should. Let's say that The Undertaker, Mark Calloway goes there. Or maybe a Sheamus goes there. Or hell, let's say that Seth Rollins went there with Becky Lynch. The key of this is not that we got these people signed. The key is what do we do with them? And that's the major issue that we've been having with AEW. We have the people there. But what have we done with them? Now let's open with the kickoff. I'm just going to briefly mention them and how I felt. Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa. The match was not the problem here. It was a little sloppy, but it was alright. The problem for me is seeing that this is on the kickoff show. Why couldn't it open the show? Why? I am shocked that this happened here. And the kicker here is seeing Deonna Purrazzo, who used to headline a Impact Wrestling. That girl headlined it a lot. And everyone and their mother all said how special she was. And she's only doing the kickoff show as the first match. The first match. That shows you they have not much of a good idea what to do with these women. Of course you won. The feud's not over. Excuse me. But honestly, I'm telling you, I don't know where they're going to go with her. They have someone very substantial in Deonna. But I don't know if they're going to do anything with her or not. Let's move on. Trios match. The Acclaimed versus the, not Gates of Agony, but Cage of Agony, because Brian Cage is currently the leader of them. They're not known as the Mogul affiliates don't exist anymore. It is only the Cage of Agony. Do I feel it? It's going to depend if they show it on Collision or Dynamite. If it's stuck on Rampage, you'll never get over. And seeing that this was stemmed off of, how can I put it? When you saw Collision Saturday night, which I did watch it, I just didn't feel like it was worth reviewing it. Seeing it was stemmed off of this kind of made me feel like this could have been left for Dynamite. Honestly, could have been left for Dynamite. Now, let's make it very clear. Caster raps his ass off. And hearing him call himself the best wrestler, I'm wondering where they're going to go with that. I know he's done it more than a few times now, but where they're going to go with this? He may be able to work the ring well. He may be able to rap really well, but where they're going to go with it? You can't just keep calling him the best wrestler unless they do something substantial with him to make him relevant with that name. I'm just saying. But it was the Acclaimed that won with Daddy Ass, who was very over. No, sorry, not Daddy Ass. I'm getting this mixed up with the Trios Championship. I want to make it very clear that when you see this, I really believe this should have been on Dynamite. It didn't need to be here. They could have saved this and just done more advertisement or shortened the show. I'm just saying. First match, the International Championship, Roderick Strong versus a Will Ospreay. Still got the stitches there. It was a great match and a good opener. It was precipitously... This was the right match to put as the opener for the show. Now, mind you, I'm not saying Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa couldn't open it. And I did say that. But if you're going to see it for what it was, if that wasn't needed, Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa could have opened the show. But this one was a perfect opening for the main card. It was very good. The matches were, well, I'll give you like this. Did they have good chemistry? Yes. Was it a little sloppy? Yes. Now, they do know each other because they have wrestled before. It has been many years though, but they do know each other. And the showing for Will Ospreay was good. Now, at one point, Don Callis went to Will, demanding him to use the Tiger Driver 91. And he kept refusing, but at one point, when he really thought he had Robert Strom, he actually listened. Because, you know, Don Callis has been trying to tell him, just use a Tiger Driver, just use it. And he keeps saying, no, bro, I won't do it. But here, he was finally convinced to actually consider it. And he was about to do it until he did Stormbreaker to win the match, which he did win. And he got the damn title. Now, here's the thing. The fans went ape shit for him. They loved him in Las Vegas. And I like him myself. It's his attitude more than just his ring work. But here's the problem. What will they do with him going forward as the international champion? I just don't see anything important with him. And who will they put him against? Now, next. Here's where it gets interesting. Right afterward, we got Adam Cole coming out. Now, we haven't seen him in months. And months. And months. Because he was there once he turned on MJF, who had to leave. But after a while, he was done. He did some talks. He did some bits. He seemed to be able to walk, but then we didn't see him for months and months and months until now. And he says, I don't want to be here, but I have to be here. This place is a dump. I want to be home rehabbing, but I had to be here because it's needed. And then he talked about the devil mask. And then he talked about MJF and that he's nothing compared to him. And then we get a very interesting video pack of a man walking through a place, walking into a room, seeing a red and basically plaited scarf, and we knew it was MJF, and he came back. We thought it was a tease. I admit it sounded like a tease, but when it didn't end, I knew it was MJF coming back, which he did come back. And Adam Cole tried to be friendly with him, and guess what he got? He got a gonad shot for his trouble. Then he got a beat up, and then he's been told to get the fuck out of my ring, and with your lazy ass, just get out. I mean, it's not those exact words, but that's what he was doing. And we got, and I'm being honest here, you can debate me, the best promo we've heard in AEW in maybe 6 months. The best. It was that much over. I felt star power. This shows you what's been missing in AEW. The most important staples of AEW has been missing, and it's MJF, Adam Cole, and everybody else that has been missing, like Jamie Hayter, like Britt Baker. We didn't see them, but we needed an MJF to come back, which he is now back for the moment. And he cut the best promo. I'm not even going to repeat it because I will give it 100% a botchery. But I will tell you this. If you've not seen it, watch it. It's that damn good. And it makes it very clear at the very end when you see the MJF with a tattoo on his right calf. Pretty much because the question of him leaving had already been settled months ago. We already knew that he was going to stay, but it was not verbally done on TV and on pay-per-view. It just been done. He actually put a tattoo on his calf. AEW, or what did he say? AEW for everyone? I think that's what it said. AEW for everyone. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me below what the tattoo said. I know it said AEW, it said everyone. But everyone, I think for everyone. But the point is that we got him back. And we needed him back. We needed star power. And that's where your star power is. Next match. And he crushed the hell out of the mask. He kicked that damn thing. He said, I am never going to be the way I am before. I'm going to be something that I know what I am. That's the most I'm going to say for that promo. Let's move on to the trios title. We got Death's Triangle versus the Bang Bang Gang. Let me give it to you like this. I got very worried about Pac because he got a DDT from Jay White, and it looked so bad that the way he was when he did the, how can I say this? The way that, like what happened with Will Ospreay when he was given like a doomsday device by, how can I say this? When OGK gave Will Ospreay a doomsday device, and I didn't say anything about it, he flipped back and looked like he hit his head on the crown because he was outside the ring. He was not in the ring when it happened. When you see this DDT that Pac got, when it was done, he was just laying there like this. I don't know if that was a work or legitimately he was stunned legitimately because the way the angle on that, the way that DDT went off, it didn't look like it happened right. And Pac really looked stunned, legitimately. We already know that Pac already had a serious injury that almost kept him out from wrestling. And that one did not look good. But he seemed to be alright. He recovered and he did finish the match. And the reason I'm botching here is because when Juice Robinson came out and helped the Bang Bang Gang, it felt like it was needed heavily for them because literally the Bang Bang Gang felt empty. I'm not saying that Juice Robinson is going to make it great. It just they needed something extra. Now they got it. And as Trios champions, at least they'll have something extra to deal with and to work with. But here's the question going forward. Who is the next team they're going to go up against? Is it going to be Death Triangle again? Is it going to be Acclaimed again? Where is the next team other than those two? You have such a deep roster. And like I said, this show is not the key here. It's what's going forward that's the most important. How are they going to book people to make the next few months mean something, particularly going to All In? Next, let's talk about the Owen Hart Cup. Owen's wife, Martha, was there. She made it clear that this is the 25th year anniversary of the foundation being created. And then culminating, she wanted to do something special, which kind of made me feel like King and Queen of the Ring bite off. Legitimately, that's what it felt like. And I'm sure maybe just Alex and JD will say the same thing. But hearing her say that something was special, that's going to be a special announcement from Tony Khan, who is back again, which I thought was dumb. And he's there, feels like he just bit off the King and the Queen of the Ring. Because since it was not announced months ahead of time, before the King and the Queen of the Ring had been fully announced, or at least started, we get, due to the fact that we just saw the King and Queen of the Ring last night, which I did review. Well, not last night. In the morning to the afternoon. I did review it. But he's saying, when it comes to the Owen Cup, we are going to have a tournament again. And it will culminate in Calgary for the winners. It will go all the way to the finals in Calgary. And the announce of the male and female cup winners of the AEW's All In. You're going to have both winners, male and female, go up against the champions. Tell me, where did you hear that from? Where did you hear that from? You know why they did it. Because of what happened with King and the Queen. They did it. This could have been announced days ahead of time. They should have announced this before King and Queen in the ring. Now they announce it right after King and the Queen. As I've been saying for many, many months, AEW reacts. It does not act. And because it doesn't act, we got this, which really felt like a letdown for me personally. I would have liked to hear this a month ago. It would have been nice if Martha had just came out and she was the one who would state it. I would have liked that. That, yeah, the Bucks were there, but it was announced. And she came on and the Bucks didn't interfere with it. They just acted like good guys for 1 minute. But here, it's a bite off of King and Queen. That's what it is. And they did it after King and Queen, instead of announcing it days or weeks ahead of time, which, fine. It would have been then, fine. But you're talking about right after King and Queen in the ring in Jeddah. Sorry. Next, the Women's AEW Championship. Selena Deeps versus Tace's Toni Storm. Damn, that was a good-ass match. It was a damn good match. I did like it. I liked it very much. Seeing that Luther had to stop Mariah May from throwing in the towel, and he got blamed for it, which should go forward on how Luther, Mariah May, and Toni Storm are going to react. But the match itself was very good. I enjoyed it quite a lot. But I'm going to be honest to you. I know not everyone's going to agree with me, but I do believe that Selena Deeps could have won the title, and it would not hurt Toni Storm at all. It wouldn't hurt her. At this point, the title is not making Toni Storm. Toni Storm is making the title. Toni Storm doesn't need the title at this point. She doesn't. Yes, we don't have Britt Baker back. Yes, we do not have at all a Jamie Hayter. And now, if I'm right, when it comes to Ruby Soho, she basically is going to be out on maternity leave unless she's going to be working with her current man, Cool Hands. Let's just say Parker right now is a daddy, if it's real, which I think it is. All the real important names are currently either out or going to be out. So you could have gave it to Selena Deeps. And if you needed to put it back on Toni Storm, you could have. And you could have made it even more interesting with Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa afterward. But that's just me. But I'm not saying that Toni didn't do a great job. My taste is Toni Storm whooped that ass. She did great. But I still believe Selena Deep could have won that title, even if it was temporary. I'm just saying. Next, the match that is pretty much another grudge match. But it is with Trent versus Orange. A very rough match. But I gotta be honest here. You could have left it for Dynamite. I'm being honest here. You could have left it for Dynamite. I do believe it should have been left for Dynamite. And it could have been left for Dynamite. And it was not. As much as the story makes a lot of sense. And I know people say, I don't know why they're doing this with Trent. What is the point? It made no sense with Trent. Trent's never had it. Trent's never... Why did they go there with Trent? Well, they have gone there with Trent. It's been 1.5 years, guys. If you don't understand what was going on with Trent, it's been 1.5 years since they started teasing Trent to turn heel. Very subtle. I've even said it on my videos multiple times. And they finally pulled the trigger on Trent. Now, what did we get in this match? We got a damn good match that in the end Orange won. And what did we get from Trent? He said, I'm done. Right when Rocky walks up to him and he's about to get interviewed, he says, no, I'm not doing this. I'm done. And he walks amongst the crowd and leaves. So now Trent supposedly is finished with AEW, I think. Unless he's going to go to ROH and they're going to have him down there. He's finished until they give him something more to do. That's the best option I can think of. If he's actually finished with his contract, or they're going to give him a new storyline, either on Collision, or better yet, on ROH, so he can be rebuilt again. Which, I don't know why they put him on ROH. So few people are watching ROH, guys. I know that people watch it on Honor Club, but that's a lot of money that you're going to pay for Honor Club, Dynamite, and all the pay-per-views. It's a lot. I'm just saying. Now, FTW title. on FTW rules. Hook, Shibata, and Chris, who looked like he got nailed really hard in his head when Shibata throwing those dice on the ground, on the mat, was very interesting, because we did another take on doing a hardcore match, and this time it was dice because they were in Las Vegas. Of course, you got to go and play into it. Sorry, my allergies. But when you see this match, which was really rough, and at one point Chris was suplexed by both of them onto those dice that nailed them in the head. And remember, they're solid dice. They're not dice that squish. They're solid dice. The question is, hopefully you didn't get hurt, or Shibata for that matter. But in the end, we got two people who saved Chris. One was Bill. Bill was there, helped out, but then he got thrown through a table by who was it? Was it Shibata or was it Hook? I think it might have been Shibata, but I could be wrong. But it was Hook, and he put him for the table. But someone saved a Chris, and guess who it was? The bounty hunter, Brian Keefe. I looked at him and I said, wait a minute, who's that? That's Keefe. That's Brian. And he won because of Brian Keefe, possibly being paid off as a bounty hunter to take out some wrestlers. I'm going to give you this. And I've heard one person, you know who you are, who writes the sonnet, who reads too much damn Reddit. I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to say it in your comment. You need to cut back on Reddit right now. You're getting too wrapped up in Reddit. I'm telling you right now, sometimes being too wrapped up in something can skew your understanding of something. And I'm telling you this right now, as someone who likes pro wrestling, who's very knowledgeable, you're so consumed with Reddit, it's not good for you. But when you look at Chris, where they were saying on Reddit that, and I say this again, saying that his allegations against Kylie Ray, which are not true, you see people not booing him like they did before. That's the reason why I brought it up. Where they were saying retire. No, they were just booing him. That shows you Reddit's wrong. But it also shows you that is his gimmick that he's doing where he's so sarcastic, being, hiya, how you doing? I am the learning tree. Is it working? Partially. That's the truth. If Brian Keefe joins him as another member of the learning tree, that might at least build it a little bit more. And then Shibata and Hook will continue trying to get at him and get the title back. That's what I think. Now, we're not done yet. We have Moxley versus Kateska. Let me give it to you like this. This was not a title match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It was an eliminator match, which I did not understand why. They should have never done this. It should only be done when New Japan is willing to let them do it on their pay-per-view or on a show where the title could be up for grabs. And it wasn't. Kateska should have been given that option. Now, was the match good? Damn straight it was. It was better than, the triple threat. This one was way better. And in the end, seeing that Kateska was told, just take the chair, hit him. Take the chair, hit him. And he blew it. Shows you that something's about to happen in the Don Callis family. I don't know what it is yet, but it's going to happen. And seeing that they focus on the elbow of a Jon Moxley, and it was a good way of doing it. I did enjoy it. But now what? When it comes to Kateska, when it comes to Moxley for that matter, now that his arm's messed up, will we see another challenger? Will we see another eliminator while he's jacked the way he is? Or will we not even see even a snippet of Jon Moxley defending that title at New Japan Pro Wrestling? Since we are so like this with New Japan, we rarely see anything from them. I'm just saying. The TNT title, the barbed wire match, cage match. The botchiness I'm having is like dude, I am scared because of what happened at the end. Because I'm wondering if Adam Copeland may have broken his ankle because of what he did at that spot on top of the cage, jumping down instead of just splashing on top of Malachi Black. He decided that he wanted to do an elbow drop, but instead of going not like this is his feet, he should have been doing it like this. But he wanted to land like this, and it's a possibility he might have broken his ankle. That will be so damn bad. It will fucking suck. I'm hoping he didn't break his ankle. I'm hoping he just strained it. I'm hoping he didn't tear anything or break anything. He just strained it. Because he jumped 20 feet from the top of the cage, wanting to do an elbow drop, but standing like this. Was it bad? No. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Did you wonder if the House of Black was going to turn on Malachi? Seeing him there, I wasn't sure. Seeing they stand by his side when they were looking at Adam, and then they switched over to his side, and Malachi was like, what? And then they nailed him, and that was the setup for it, because they did eventually go outside the ring. They did, well, the kicks that Malachi supposedly did broke the chain that allowed Adam Copeland to smash into it and break it. But the point here is this. Seeing that Adam Copeland came out in the Brood music, basically the Brood music, coming out looking like he's from the Brood, and then seeing that Dan Grill comes out, well, not comes out, he comes out from the bottom of the ring because he cuts his way through and he climbs out with those damn things, and he pretty much attacks. It was good. People loved it. And since me, as someone who wasn't watching a lot of wrestling back then, but did know about the Brood, and did know about different types of things like in WCW, knowing about the Wolfpack, knowing about NWO, knowing about Crow Sting, knowing about the Brood a little bit, because I didn't see the whole story of the Brood before it was finally over, but I didn't know about it. Seeing Dan Grill there, cool. For someone who didn't get a chance to witness it, it was nice to see it. Now, mind you, he did win the match. But you wonder what happens now. That's a big question. Going forward, now you've done some big moments. What are you going to make from these moments? Next, the AEW TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. This was a big question of how people would respond to Mercedes Moné. A lot of people were cheering for Willow. Eventually they were cheering for Mercedes. And they were doing both. I didn't want to get caught in mid-sentence if the camera cut off. But I'm telling you now, this was a good match. Was it better than the Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa? Yes. Was it better than Toni Storm and Selena Deeps? No. I'm going to make it clear. We have not seen Mercedes wrestle for the 2 months she's been there. And she has not wrestled constantly for a year and a half because she needed to recover, I think it was a year and 4 months, since her ankle was shattered. So I'm not saying she couldn't wrestle. She did wrestle quite well. And she changed her style, which I personally respect that. You could see compared to what she did in WWE, it's different. She does still do the Meteora. She does do the Stomp. But you could tell everything else that she did was completely different than what we've ever seen her do on the main roster of WWE. Completely different. And it was nice. I enjoyed it. In the end, seeing that halfway and Statlander was interfering and almost cost her the match. And that's Willow. You see them both staring at each other. And I'm going like, it's got to be coming now. We've all speculated. Let's make it clear. You know it's coming. Sorry, I think my camera. Yeah, it's still working. I'm sorry. I thought my battery on my mic had died. But when you see the situation, You've known for a while, like I do, like a lot of people do, that Statlander needed to change her character. That it made no sense to have Hathaway there unless eventually Statlander was going to turn heel. Not Willow, but Statlander. And by the end of the match, which the CEO took advantage of that situation, and she won, Statlander was mad at Hathaway after it was over because Hathaway was yelling at Willow, and Statlander didn't like it, shoves him down. He looks totally pissed off, even more than he was when they lost the damn title. And as Willow's being helped out of the ring by Statlander, Chris looked at her and just basically whack, took her head off. Good. Finally, just like it happened with Trent Beretta, as many people realize, it has been a long time coming. Trent, the same thing. It was over a year and maybe near a year and a half where they teased it on and off and teased it on and off and teased it until he finally was pulled on. And now Statlander the same way, but not as long as him because they took a really long time. But now, finally, she's now a heel. And Hathaway was happy being with her. Finally, we got what we needed. Finally, we got what we wanted. And there you go. Next match. Swerve versus Christian for the AEW Championship. Let me give it to you like this. I don't need to say a lot with it because seeing how good the match was, and it was good, I wasn't sure there was going to be a lot of chemistry between Christian and Swerve. But there was a lot of chemistry with them. Yeah, they had a couple of botches between each other, no problem. And then you saw that Nana was tricked into grabbing the title from a Shayna Wayne, and was tricked and was ejected. Then everybody else was ejected. It was just them. And in the end, Swerve did win. He did win the match. And it was a damn good match. But knowing that we had clearly a good TBS championship, a great TNT championship, and now Anarchy in Arena, it kind of got buried in the middle of it. I kind of wish we didn't have 3 main events. I wish we had not had Anarchy in Arena, and I wish we did not have the TNT championship in a barbed wire steel cage match, because it kind of got buried in it. I don't know about anybody else. I'm not saying the match was bad. I'm just saying there was so much in the show, which at this point, it started at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, nearly 1 in the morning. We're at 12 something. It's like near 6 hours. It's a lot of hours. And so much was packed into it, it feels like it got buried a little bit. But it's just me. Anarchy in Arena, where we saw, I'm not even going to cover it all, where we saw Darby Allin basically tied up with his legs hanging upside down for 5 minutes. We saw Jack Perry set on fire by Darby Allin with the flamethrower Seeing that his legs were set on fire by that flamethrower by Darby. Crazy. Seeing that we got an exploding chair into Dax Hardwood's face. They literally went well beyond what we expected. They wanted to try and make people care. And what did we get at the end of the show with? We got music from the Bucks. Then we got the final countdown. Then we got the Bucks' new music. We even got the Bucks' new sneakers mentioned in it. And also the very sneakers were put with thumbtacks on it. They literally went above and beyond. And the person who won the match for the Bucks, for Okada, was Jack Perry on Daniel Bryan. He got pinned by him. Here's the thing. I want to make this clear. We now have had a very good Double or Nothing. Can't deny it. It's not all crap. It's damn good for what it was. But what does it really mean? Because right now, if we do not have something stemming off of it next to, yes, we did get Tony Khan thrown out and thrown to the ground right before the setting of the fire to Jack Perry. What now? Let's put this in perspective. Tony Khan is not out. He should still be out. And he should have his own team. And he should be by All In something important. But we're not getting it. We got it here. We now have Mercedes Moné as champion for TBS. But will they book her correctly? And who will be her first opponent? Will it be Statlander? Don't know. What are we really going to get with Adam Copeland? Will he still do the Brood thing? Will Dan Grill continue doing it? Will the House of Black change sides? What next? Look, when it comes to the FTW Championship, I know for a fact things are not going to change there. But what will happen with Shibata and Hook? Where will they develop them there? Toni Storm now won her title. Well, not won her title. Let me give it to you like this. Instead of Toni Storm dropping the title, which she should, because she doesn't need it at this point, what now? Unless Jamie Hayter's coming back or a Britt Baker's coming back, if they're still not ready, what now? Who are you going to put? Hiro Kushida against her? Rio again? Nia Rose? Who? You don't have anybody else built up. So it makes no sense. When it comes to Will Ospreay, how are they going to book Will? Yes, you're going to still see him go up against Roderick Strong. And maybe, just maybe, we will see Adam Copeland again. Not Adam Copeland, Adam Cole, sorry. I'm a little sleepy too. We've seen them, but what next? There's so many major questions that are posed to here, guys. I don't know. Even the Bang Bang Gang, we got Juice Robinson back. But what now? Are we going to see Death Triangle again? Are we going to see Jesse Acclaimed in Death Triangle? Is there another team that's going to be built up? Is it going to be Top Flight and Action Andretti again, where they get nowhere? We need direction. With this, with no idea what they're going to do after this Double or Nothing, building into All In. Because that's what this is going to culminate in. The biggest show they have back in Wembley. It's got to make sense. But this is just me. I will say it was a damn good show, but what? Peace.